Swadikap. A very good afternoon for all excellencies, delegates, distinguished guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would love to express my very warm welcome to all of you, welcoming to the land of smile, welcome to Bangkok, Thailand, and yes, of course, officially welcoming all of you to Huawei Data Center Facility Summit 2022. You are here with us in the summit of Smart DZ, building the green future. I am Gorawin Siriakson, but just call me Mac in short. It's so delight and honor to standing among all amazing of you right here. On behalf of Huawei, the main sponsor for this launch conference, allow me to mention for the honorable guests who are coming and joining us for this summit. Starting by Mr. Basilio Diaz Araujo, Deputy for Coordinating Minister of Maritime Sovereignty and Energy Affairs at the Coordinating Ministry for Maritime and Investment Affairs, Republic of Indonesia. Also, I would like to welcoming right here as well, Mr. Dave Amiro, Undersecretary for E-Government of DICT Philippines. Mr. Gautam G. Nanajoti, Global Research Vice President, Energy and Environment, Frost Sullivan. Mr. Boham Sun, President of Huawei Digital Power APAC. And lastly, welcome and also, I'm so delighted to having you right here as well, Mr. Jerry Chang, General Manager, Global Data Center, Facility Solution Sales, Huawei Digital Power. On behalf of Huawei today, I hope that all of you are great and really enjoy the day so far. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time that I would like to take this great and amazing opportunity to invite Mr. Boham Sun to come up on the stage. He is the President of Huawei Digital Power APAC to come up right here for the opening remark. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Distinguished guys, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I'm Boham, the President of Huawei Digital Power Asia Pacific. Welcome you all to Huawei Data Center Facility Summit at Huawei Connect 2022, Bangkok. In the next 3 decades, the world will wrestle with challenges and uncertainties. However, there are 3 definite trends: intelligence, decarbonization, and digitalization. Digital technologies are booming and benefiting our lives and production. As the world's most popular and most diversified region, Asia Pacific is the key driver of the digital economy. It's expected to be increased by 2 times to $330 million until 2025. Digital transformation has driven the deployment of the global computing power at the rate of more than 50% over the next 5 years. By 2026, the computing power will grow more than 10 times, and explosive growth of data and computing power will bring huge demands for data center. Since last year, over 130 countries have promised to achieve carbon peak and carbon neutrality targets. Low carbonization has become a clear direction in the data center industry. The vision of Huawei Digital Power is to integrate digital and power electronics technologies, develop clean power, and enable energy digitalization to drive energy revolution for a better, greener future. By integrating digital technologies and power electronics technologies, we aim to build a green and smart data center, lead the industry development, enhance the capabilities of ecosystem partners, and become the best partner for global customers. Huawei Digital Power offered all scenarios, low carbon power solutions, covering the whole process of energy flow from green power generation to efficient power consumption. Notable examples include smart PV for green power generation, data center facility, and site power facility for green ICT power infrastructure. Huawei Digital Power is committed to benefiting the data center industry. We upgrade the architecture, cooling, power supply, and O&M in our data center solutions to curb energy consumption, shorten the construction period, and build sustainable, simplified, smart, and reliable next-generation data center. Huawei Digital Power keeps the technology's innovation, and the industry is ecosystem-based. We'd like to cooperate with all partners in Asia-Pacific, including governments, industry associations, standard organizations, and research institutions to innovate solutions, advance the industry trends, and develop industry policies and standards to meet our common target for a better data center industry and faster economic growth in the Asia-Pacific. Huawei Digital Power always pay attention to the Asia-Pacific market. To the date, Huawei have deployed over 230 data centers for Asia-Pacific customers. Today, we are proud to join by our co-host, Frost Sullivan, to welcome data center industry leaders and experts. I firmly believe that today's discussion will set us on the path toward the developing and deploying next-generation data center that will define the future. I hope everyone here in person and online will benefit from our exchange of the idea and experience. We are facing a truly limitless future, and by working together, we can build an ecosystem that benefits all, from our customers to partners to our world. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What an amazing opening remark. Thank you once again to Mr. Boham Sun, President of Huawei Digital Power APAC. Ladies and gentlemen, we were moving to the next section. I would like to welcome Mr. Basilio Diaz Araujo. He is Deputy for Coordinating Minister of Maritime Sovereignty and Energy Affairs at the Coordinating Ministry for Maritime and Investment Affairs, Republic of Indonesia. He will come up right here and sharing with us for promote green energy utilization in digital transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, can I have a big round of applause and welcome the stage.
Excellency, Mr. Boham Sun, President of Huawei Digital Power Asian Pacific, Mr. Gautam Nanajoti, Global Research Vice President, Frost & Sullivan, Mr. Jerry Zhang, General Manager, Global Data Center Facility, Huawei Digital Power, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, it is indeed a great pleasure for me to be here today at Huawei Connect 2022 in Bangkok. I understand that this is the first time for Huawei to hold such a global event in Asia Pacific, and it is very beneficial for Asian countries to take the chance and accelerate the digital transformation in this region. As you all know, ladies and gentlemen, Indonesia is hosting G20 Summit 2022 in Bali, Indonesia, and next year, ASEAN Summit. Two of the three main themes in G2022 are digital transformation and sustainable energy transition. These themes are also reflected in our summit today. Smart Data Center, Building a Green Future, will cover both digital transformation and green energy. Huawei is a well-recognized global ICT infrastructure leader. We all expect to see Huawei's new visions and new innovations to build a better, greener, and intelligent world. Digital economy will fundamentally transform Asian Pacific countries with higher GDP growth and more equal development for the people. Indonesia, as the biggest digital economy market in this region, has seen great progress, especially during the pandemic. E-commerce, fintech, logistics, education, healthcare, and e-government are all online. Building a digital Indonesia is not a vision, but also has become a reality, an important part in real life. President Joko Widodo has stated that digital infrastructures like telecommunication network, data centers, and cloud services are as important as physical infrastructure like roads, bridges, harbors, and airports. To connect people to people, data to data globally. To achieve higher level of digital transformation, Indonesia has set its national plan to encourage more digital infrastructure construction, from remote area network coverage to national data centers. We have also established national artificial intelligence strategy, making Indonesia 4.0 plan, and the latest move to build a new capital city in Kalimantan and transforming into a green and IT-friendly capital. All of them will bring new opportunities in both physical and digital infrastructure. Along with the booming of digital economy, data centers are to be built in Batam next to Singapore. It is an special economic zone dedicated for international investment. The Indonesian government will provide all the green energy needed by the data centers in this area and turning Batam into a global hub for data interchange. Just tell us how much gigawatts you need to put in your data centers in Batam. Indonesia will provide energy sources either from hydropower, solar power, and other sources of green power generation for you. Indonesia has all green energy sources to produce green energy. You name it. Either you want from solar, you want from hydro, you want from geothermal, you want from tidal, wind, and etc. We have all of them. We can channel it from Sumatra Island, Java Island, and even as far as Sumba Island in West Timor to your place. East Kalimantan for new capital city, Bali as the new potential innovation city, and all major islands will and can develop local digitalization. Both digital infrastructure and power supply are on the raising demands across Indonesia, and the government can provide it. The Indonesia's nationally determined contribution from the Paris Agreement top it off with targets of reducing emissions as much as 29% through our own efforts and 41% with international supports by 2030. And further yet, to have a net zero emission target by 2060. All these highly ambitious targets will need clearly defined strategies in order to achieve the net zero emissions targets and also fulfill the demands of more power supply in digital transformation. Data center, as a core of digital transformation, is energy-intensive infrastructure, which account for 5% in the power consumption globally. The power consumption is expected to be doubled in the next 3 years, comparing to 2020. Then how to extend the digital transformation, especially data centers, without compromise of the net zero emission goals, lays on right strategies. One is to quickly grow the utilization of renewable energy, like solar in power generations, of which the total solar potential is around 200 gigawatts available all around Indonesia. The other way is to improve the data center power usage efficiency standard to reduce the high power consumption. Green data centers should be low carbon, simplified, intelligent, and reliable. They should be evaluated from multiple dimensions, including power consumption, water consumption, and renewable energy use. The research and application of new technologies should be actively carried out to achieve sustainable development. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, to achieve the strategy and goal of low-carbon data center construction, we believe the following areas are the keys. Firstly, each country should continue to promote green and sustainable energy policies in every areas, from power industry, transformation industry, and most important is ICT industry. Energy is the foundation of every country, and will impact every one of us in our own countries and globally. Secondly, we need to invest for the future. Net zero emission goals, digital transformation will not happen automatically and today. The proper investment will drive the policy forward. Holding the role of the coordinating investment in Indonesia, I truly believe the growing potential in our Asia-Pacific region. And thirdly, we all understand that technology is the key game changer. I would like to urge the industry to provide more innovations, make the right technological standards, and develop sufficient human talents to enable the future. I am confident that Huawei has already considered all the technical and economical aspects to comply with Green Code and applicable standards in designing smart data center solutions that is being launched at this event today. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I have the advantage to attend this Smart Data Center Building a Green Future Summit by Huawei today. And I'm glad I can get more knowledge and insights from the policymakers, industry leaders, and technical experts. I truly appreciate Huawei's effort for providing this chance for all. Let us unleash digital to build a green future together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much. And that was the introduction for promote green energy utilization in digital transformation. Thank you once again, Mr. Basilio Diaz Araujo, for brought such a fruitful information and sharing with us today. Also, we can know the update trend in the Indonesian national strategy and planning, and also the update of the green energy in Indonesia so far. Ladies and gentlemen, we were moving to the next section. I would like to invite Mr. Gautam Jinanajoti, Global Research Vice President, Energy and Environment, Frost & Sullivan, to introduce key trends shaping the data center industry. Big round of applause, and now the stage is yours, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Gautam Yanajyothi, and I'm a research vice president with Frost & Sullivan's Energy and Environment Division. I also head up our data center research. First of all, it's great to be here at Huawei Connect in Bangkok. Thanks for having me. In my presentation today, I will be talking about some of the key trends that are expected to drive or shape the future of the next generation data centers. So at Frost & Sullivan, what we've done, like I said, we track the data center market quite carefully. We track it from an infrastructure perspective and also from a data center services perspective, which is looking at the co-location market and the cloud market. So what we've done is we've put together a list of 8 trends that we believe will drive the future of data centers. So we'll be, over the next 10 to 15 minutes, I'll be taking you guys through each of these trends as we move forward. So the first one we'll be looking at is around connectivity, which is the rise of the hybrid co-location in terms of the next generation connectivity around hybrid cloud architectures. And obviously we will then look at one of the most important trends, which is sustainability. We all know sustainability is an important trend. It's been an important trend for a long time, but the focus on the sustainability and decarbonization aspect is increasing more than ever. We'll look at other trends such as energy storage in terms of rise of lithium-ion, especially within data centers. And one of the other very important trends is the tremendous rate at which hyperscale data centers are growing. So we'll look at that, and we'll talk about the role of robotics and how it's influencing the data center market. And we look at some of the important mergers and acquisitions in the data center industry. And obviously the other important trend is around edge computing and edge data centers. We'll look at that. And last but not least, one of my personal favorites is the use of artificial intelligence to optimize data center operations and performance. So the first trend I want to talk about is hybrid co-location. It's actually the advent of, it's around connectivity, right? So what we are seeing is the co-location, the ability of a co-location operator to be able to provide cloud connectivity while still hosting the workloads within the co-location data center. And obviously, as we know, we are seeing a lot of outsourcing from enterprise. So enterprise class data centers are moving towards third-party service providers, which is cloud or co-location. And what they want to do also is they want to keep part of their data or workloads in-house. There's quite a few reasons for that. They have things like security, compliance. So for them to be able to host part of their workload on the cloud with hosting or keeping some of their computing capabilities in-house. So they're looking to co-location providers who now are trying to add more value around hybrid cloud and multi-cloud. As you can see from the figures here, between 2019 and 2021, the rate at which multi-cloud and hybrid cloud adoption is taking place is just tremendous, with about 43% and 45% growth rate. And this is only going to keep increasing as we move forward. And some of the key factors that actually drive the hybrid cloud adoption are around aspects such as flexibility, the agility and the scalability, the resilience it offers, and the overall sort of the ability of optimizing the resources, and it obviously has a cost benefit as well. The second trend, like I said, we all know sustainability and decarbonization have been really important topics around data centers especially, but then it's the prominence of sustainability and decarbonization, it's really high. I mean, the level of the priority levels of data center operators on sustainability and decarbonization is right up there, even along with reliability aspects. And we've been sort of looking at the PUE, the power usage effectiveness. Obviously, that is still a very important topic for consideration. But the market or the data center industry is evolving, and it's looking at other key metrics such as carbon usage effectiveness, water usage effectiveness. I mean, just to put things into context, the data center industry, the carbon emissions from data center industry accounts for about 2%, which is equivalent to the emissions of the airline industry. And in the US alone, data centers in 2021 used about 660 billion liters of water. So there's a lot of focus around decarbonization, and more importantly, we are seeing a lot of focus towards emerging trends. There's historically, while there's been a focus on energy efficiency, use of renewables and things like that, we are now seeing a host of new emerging best practices, things like sustainable construction strategies, deployment of prefabricated modular data centers, water conservation, water management, waste heat reuse, things like hydrogen fuel cells for backup power, eliminating the possibility of eliminating diesel gensets. So there's a lot of activity around the new frontiers. And when we sort of look at it from an end user perspective, they are quite keen to sort of adopt new in terms of their considerations. They want to adopt innovative, energy and power, use of AI to optimize, energy and power. They're looking at advanced cooling technologies from a more, it's moving towards from a more a crack-based or a room-based cooling to a more targeted row-based, rack-based, even server-level cooling. We're talking about liquid immersion cooling, things like advanced technologies such as adiabatic evaporative cooling. So there's a lot of activity around that which is happening. And more importantly, in terms of when we talk about the enterprise data center and their sort of outsourcing their capabilities to a co-location or a cloud service provider, one of the main drivers is around economies of scale, meaning their sort of the considerations around economies of scale, especially pertaining to sustainability and decarbonization. I think that's playing a very important role in the industry as well. And so the bottom line is there's no doubt about the importance of sustainability and decarbonization. And over the moving next few years, I think we'll see an increased level of focus, especially with hyperscalers, and then the innovation trickles down to small and medium co-location players in terms of their efforts to address sustainability and decarbonization. The next one is around, it's an interesting trend. So when we sort of talk about data center backup power, we all know how important a UPS system is and how important the battery performance in a UPS is. And the data center operators, their focus on the battery performance is higher than ever for obvious reasons. It goes back to reliability and uptime. And what we are seeing is, so historically, while traditionally we've seen UPS batteries being, powered by lead-acid batteries, so we're now seeing a trend which is a shift away or a move towards lithium-ion batteries, and this is mainly driven by, as you can imagine, the advancements in the EV, the electric vehicles market, and the technology advancements have made it more feasible for a more viable alternative. The lithium-ion batteries are a more viable alternative, both technologically as well as economically. And I've listed here some of these key advantages and the benefits that a lithium-ion battery does. For instance, it offers long cycle life, it offers more reliability, the risk is reduced, and more importantly, it offers a high density, high energy density, and also in a much smaller footprint. And on the other hand, there are some of these other trends in the data center market, such as peak shaving and grid frequency regulation. So these trends and the obvious increase in the power densities, so these trends are in fact also driving the preference of data center operators to be moving towards lithium ion. So I think this is a trend to look out for, especially when it comes to the data center operators. We are seeing a lot of adoption of these lithium-ion batteries from the hyperscalers to start with. There's already a lot of deployments in the hyperscale market because obviously when it comes to the data center market, the innovation begins at the hyperscale level and then trickles down. And we are also seeing a lot of deployment of the lithium-ion batteries in the medium and smaller sized co-location operators as well. Now, this is a really interesting trend. So we all know, I've been talking about hyperscalers. So the growth of the hyperscale data center market is just tremendous. I mean, just to put things into context, if you just take a look at Facebook's capex spent over the past 3 years, but it's increased 48%, and even Alibaba's 47%. Tencent's capex has increased about 44%. It's just that the level at which the hyperscale data centers are growing is just unstoppable, and it is going to continue to grow at a tremendous pace over the next few years. And just to take a look at the number of data centers, between 2015 and 2021, it grew from about 259 data centers to 628 data centers. That's a CAGR of 142%. And to think, I mean, this is just such a huge increase. Also, given the size of these data centers, I'm sorry, these are huge, massive scale data centers. And when you look at the sort of regional spread, US is the leading country for the hyperscale data centers, followed by China. So the bottom line is, the hyperscale data centers will continue to grow, and this actually offers the co-location providers a unique growth opportunity, because now what they see is co-location providers, especially the bigger ones, they look at hyperscale data centers as a customer segment, because they built the suit data centers for these hyperscalers. So hyperscale is actually an important customer segment for these co-location providers. The next one is robotic. The use of robotics is not really a new concept within data centers. We've seen data center operators leverage robotics, especially mainly for cold storage purposes, to retrieve data that is rarely used. But now the robotics has gained more traction, especially in the past 3 years because of COVID-19. Key aspects for which robotics are used are physical site security, managing disk storage, swapping of the faulty servers, or server management becomes easier, and of course this is all, well, it was starting to gain traction from the COVID-19 aspect, but even after things go back to sort of normal, I think the use of robotics will still continue to be there. I've highlighted some of the best practices, some of the examples of some companies using robotics. I don't want to go too much into detail of that. The other one is the very interesting one, again, the past between 2015 to 2020, we can call that a golden age in data center mergers and acquisitions. If you look at the chart there, so one of the biggest one, which is the KKR and Cirrus One acquisition, that deal was worth close to $15 billion, and that just came through, I think, 4 or 5 months earlier, early in 2022. So which is actually the biggest data center merger deal in the history of data centers. I mean, again, this is followed by American Tower and CoreSite, which was again close to a $10 billion deal. The QTS and Blackstone deal was also a $10 billion merger, which happened a couple of years back. We are also seeing a lot of these special purpose acquisition vehicles and the marquee investors coming into the market as well. And we will continue to see this trend. Again, this is an important trend to keep in mind when thinking about the overall data center market. Now, edge computing, edge data centers and edge computing is not a new concept. It's not a trend for tomorrow. It's already here. Edge data centers are here. The advent of 5G is actually driving a lot of the latency-related applications, which again is creating. So we're seeing a lot of these smaller edge data centers, most of which are modular in construction. So we're seeing a lot of those being deployed in Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities. Historically, the focus for data center operators has been your Tier 1 cities. If you look at the European market, we call it the flap market. So that the Frankfurt, London, Amsterdam, Paris. Now the focus for data center operators is shifting towards these smaller Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, which will keep increasing over the next 5 to 10 years. And if you look at in terms of just to again put things into context, between 2018 and 2025, the investment that's gone into these smaller edge data centers is expected to increase between $940 million to about $8.1 billion. That's a CAGR of 36%, which again is a tremendous amount of growth in the next few years. This is driven by a lot of these latency-sensitive applications, which again things like autonomous cars and the AR VR market, content streaming, mobile gaming. There's a lot of smart cities is another example, which is driving a lot of the edge data centers. So this is a trend again to watch out for. The next, this is, like I said earlier, this is my personal favorite, the use of AI to enhance the data center operations. So what we're seeing is, artificial intelligence is sort of shaping the way how data centers operate. And we're not too far away from seeing, I know it might sound like a bold statement, but we're not too far away from witnessing, seeing a data center that can actually think for itself and learn and then optimize the operation. And again, the way how it does it is it uses advanced machine learning algorithms I've listed down a few aspects of how it's supposed to help, for instance, enhancing the energy efficiency of the critical infrastructure with condition-based monitoring, and more importantly, the ability of AI to be able to predict and eliminate outages. I think that's just brilliant in terms of it employs advanced predictive algorithms to essentially detect and eliminate a failure, even component failures, before even they occur, which is such a big step forward in the data center industry. For the last slide, I've just included some facts, some numbers, some of the forecasts in the market, which we've done on the data center market. So the overall co-location market in 2020 was worth about 51 billion, and that's estimated. We've estimated the market to grow to about 164 billion by 2030, with a CAGR of 12%. And also, if you sort of look at the split between the revenues, North America is the biggest market, of course, with APAC. APAC is the biggest market, followed by North America, and there's a tremendous high growth potential in the APAC market, where specifically Southeast Asian countries, we see a lot of activity. In Thailand, for example, and in Indonesia is a very good market. India is an emerging market. In fact, India is emerging as one of the highest growth potential markets in the world, even. So we're looking at a lot of different aspects, and the data center industry is going through, like I said again, a golden age, a golden phase of growth, which again is expected to continue over the next 5 to 10 years as well. So I think with that slide, I will conclude my presentation with that slide. So it's very good to be here. Thank you for having me, and I hope you all have an excellent rest of the day. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. That was the totally wrap up for the key trend shaping the data center industry. Thank you once again for brought a lot of inside information for us, Mr. Gautam Jinanajoti, so we can see the overall picture. And also, thank you for pick up the very important topic for us, which is a very special highlight one, the hybrid co-location and also decarbonization and many more. So up next, ladies and gentlemen, we were moving to the next topic, which is very important and also interesting as well. We're going to be the smart DC, building the green future, sustainable, simplified, autonomous driving, and reliable DC facility. By this session, we got the honor by the speaker, Mr. Jerry Chang, General Manager, Global Data Center Facility Solution Sales, Huawei Digital Power. Please, giving a big round of applause and welcome on the stage, sir.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to be here and share some opinion and ideas from Huawei data center facility. So, recent years, for my presentation topic is Smart DC Build the Green Future. So recent years, with the development of the digitalization and the cloud technology, our life has been changed a lot. Every day, when we open our eyes, the first thing is pick up our phone, and the last thing is when we go to the bed, is put down the phone. Why? Because there are a lot of apps in our smartphone, and we can learn and play the electronic games anytime, anywhere. And before we take some picture with our phone and save in the phone, just several hundreds save in the phone. But right now, I think we can take thousands of the video and the pictures, and because we can upload them to the cloud, and always we can get them as we like. So this is a convenience from the digital life. So at the same time, I want to talk about the economy of the digital. You know, I think in almost in every country, the digital economy has become the mainstream economic model in the country. For example, in Thailand, in the contribution to the GDP of the digital economy will reach $56 billion in 2030. So this is a huge amount. And just now I talk about the digital life and talk about the digital economy. But behind of them, what's the behind? I think it's the computing power and the storage. And behind them, also it's the huge amount of data center. So this is some number from the Sullivan and 451 research. You know, the data center will grow by 6 million racks in the future. And for the capacity will grow by 38 million kilowatt. This is a huge amount. So in the future, we will construct so many data centers. However, we also faced a lot of challenge about the building of the so much data center. So there's 4 main challenges. The first one is the huge energy consumption. In some survey, the power consumption of all the data center over the world, each will be near 1,000 billion kilowatt hour. So this is a so big power consumption. And the second one is for the construction time. You know, for example, for the colocation industry, colocation operator, before they build the data center first, then go to find the client. But right now, I think more and more colocation operator send the agreement with their clients first, then start the construction of the data center. So also the time to market, you know, the client will ask the colocation operator to build the data center faster as possible. So there's a big pressure of the colocation operators. So next is about the operation and the maintenance. You know, the data center is larger and larger. So many devices inside. So it's complex for the operation and the maintenance. And you know, nowadays there's a big lake of the maintenance engineering. We have a survey about the Hyperscale data center. They like maybe near 50% of the maintenance experience engineering. So the last one is about the reliability. Now the data center carry more and more devices and carry more and more business and services. So as the reliability is more important. But the downtime of the data center, 60 of them come from data center facility. So how to improve the reliability of the center facility is a bigger problem. Okay, Huawei facing so many challenges. Huawei have been thinking about how to build a better data center and how to solve this problem about the challenges. So we release the concepts of the next generation data center. There should have 4 characteristics. The first one is sustainable. The third one, the second one is simplified. The third one is autonomous driving. last one is ultimate reliability. I will introduce one by one. The first one is for the sustainable. It includes 3 points. The first point is all green. I think in the future, the data center should use the clean energy as much as possible, and should use the normal water and not the clean water, and should use the high intensity device and the product to reduce the footprint, to reduce the land occupied. And the next one is the all efficient. Before we focused on the PUE, the power usage efficient. But I think the data center not just the power usage. We also should pay more attention about the water. Just now, Mr. Gaussen also mentioned it, and the grid usage and the carbon usage. So in future, I think the most important factor of the data center, not only PUE, should be WE, CUE, and GUE. And the third point is the recovery. I think in the future for the data center, from the components level to the device level and to the system level, we should find the material and find the constructed model to make them recyclable, and can be reused. And the third one, and the second one is simplified. Also include the 3 points. The first point is for the architecture. For the architecture, I think also include the 2 points. First one is the modular, and second one is the prefabric. And we should build the data center in the factory, manufacture the data center in the factory as much as possible, because they can guarantee the quality of the data center. And also we can remove the on-site engineering work to the parallel work in the factory. And so the second one is the power supply simplified. In a traditional way, we build the power supply link from the transformer to the low voltage cabinet and to the UPS, to the output and input cabinet, and for the feeder cabinets. We make the physical connection of them. So it can bring the low efficiency and the low quality. So how to make the power supply convergent? This is a question. And the third one is for the cooling system simplified. Usually we use the chiller, so many purposes, and for at least 4 times of the heat exchange. In future, we should reduce the heat exchanger times as much as possible. And also we should find some way to simplify the cooling system deployment. For example, we can use the horizontal air supply to remove the floor, the rest of the floor, and this model can reduce the cost and also can make the maintenance and the installation easy. Next is the autonomous driving. Just now I mentioned for the data center, it's complex. So we need a lot of guys, a lot of people to make the maintenance. But in future, we think the data center can be AI-based remote inspection instead of the manual inspection. And this type we can reduce the maintenance period, maintenance time, inspection time. Just for example, we for 20,000, for 2,000 racks data center, if we choose the manual inspection, it will take 2 hours at least. And if you use the AI technology to make the inspection, just need 5 minutes. Okay, and next is for the optimization of the energy efficiency. In future, for the center can be optimize the energy efficiency by themselves. For example, if you can use the cooling system, you can optimize the PUE up to 50%. The next is for the operation autonomy. This one is we should make the data center its management system can maximize the resource value, not only the space, also for the cooling resource, the network resource, and the power resource, and improve the resource utilization from 60% to 85%. And last one is for the reliable. Also include 2 points. First one is for the reliable architecture from the component level, the device level, and to the system level. For the component level, should be can hot, swapped, and plug in. And for the device level, can redundancy design for the guaranteed the reliable. And for the system level, we should reach the reliability to 99.999%. And the second one is for the proactive protection. In the future, for the data center, should be automatic fault response, and also should make the predicative maintenance. We should solve the problem before it happens, and we should change the traditional remedy to prevention. So this is the 4 characteristics about Huawei next generation data center concept. And Huawei, all the Huawei data center facility solution is based on the 4 characteristics. And next, I will introduce Huawei data center facility solution for you. And first one is very important, is for the power supply system. Just now I mentioned that before we build a power supply link from the transformer to the feeder cabinet. For example, I give you the model. If we to build a power supply chain 2.4 megawatt in the traditional way, we need at least 22 cabinets. But for Huawei PowerPort solution, we just need 11 cabinets. How can we achieve it? There is a lot of innovative product. First one is the innovative power module. This is a 3U and can provide 100 kVA. It's a power module. The second one is innovative load switch. This switch is also small dimension. We can put the load switch into the cabinet of power module, so we can remove the power input and output cabinet. And we use the prefabricated bus bar. This is instead of the huge amount of the cable connection. It's easy to make the deployment. And next is the very important feature is SECO, Super ECO. This feature, we just tell you the benefits. First one is the high efficiency. For the whole link of the power supply will reach 97.8%. Usually for the traditional way, you just can get the efficiency 94.5%. So at least the 3 PCT were being improved. And we use the bypass road as the main road. So somebody will ask us, how can you guarantee the reliability? How can you guarantee you can connect the main road? So there is because in our power pod there is a standby module. There is this standby module can transfer and can switch the road, and also it's different from another suppliers. Is on this module there is the constant voltage to guarantee can switch, and there is no current on it, so it not to consume the energy, consume the power, so we can get the high efficiency. Okay, in order to let you understand the power pod better, I bring a little video for you, and please start the video. Okay. Okay, that's the video for the power pod from Huawei. And if you have time, you can, because outside in the expansion area, there's a physical model for Huawei power pod 3.0. Okay, next is for the cooling system. Today I bring two type of the cooling solution. The first one is the indirect private cooling system. We name it EHU. For this solution, there is some of advantage about it. The first one, for this solution, just have one-time heat exchange. Every exchange will consume the power. So just one time of the heat exchange. The second one, this solution can save the water. In the traditional way, we use the chiller system. About it will take maybe 2 liters of water per kilowatt hour. But for this solution, just 1 or less 1 liter per kilowatt hour. And next is for the fan wall. Because for the EHU, this is the suit for the low temperature outside. This is scenario. And next scenario is for the higher temperature outside scenario. We recommended the fan wall. This is changes the air supply. In the traditional way, we the air supply is under floor air supply, so they need the raised floor. So we use the horizontal air supply, so we don't need the raised floor. So it can reduce the cost of the data center. Also can make it easy to make the maintenance and the installation. And both of the EHU and the fan wall from Huawei, we use with the Huawei patented EC fan. In traditional way, the EC fan have two main parts. The first one is the controller unit. The second one is the fan. So as we know, the controller unit have high fault rate. So in the traditional way, if we want to change the EC fan, we need to take them both of them. But Huawei EC fan, we split the control unit from the fan. So it makes the maintenance easy. And this is for the control unit. But for the fan, Huawei designed 1,000 fan for the data center. And we found the one of the from the 1,000 fan, and to find the best performance, to find the best curve and the shape. So it can improve the power efficiency of the fan from 69% to 75%. This is the 6 PCT improved. And next is for the smart module data center. You can see the picture left of the slide. In the traditional way, we put different components and the device of the data center together and make the cable connection of them. So it's the complex and it's a slow deployment period. And Huawei propose smart modular data center. I think it's a trend for the medium and the small data center construction. In this solution, we use the heat and the cool I/O containment, and we use the high density integrated UPS in raw, and the cooling system in raw, and the lithium battery cabinet in raw. So this can short the footprint. Okay, next is for the prefabric. Just now I mentioned the simplified architecture. It's this solution. This video is the construction process of a Huawei Cloud in Dongguan, a city of China. We built the center for 1,000 racks. We finished the hoisting period just 13 days, and the second phase will just take 8 days. So Huawei prefabric data center can bring a lot of benefits. The first one is for the simple. In the traditional way, we build a concrete building and construct a data center. Usually we need 2 years, right? But if you choose the Huawei prefabric data center, just need 9 to 12 months. And also, because the materials of the prefabric data center is steel, so the recovery rate can reach 80%. This is we talk about the recovery, reused, and also we design the prefabric data center by the beam system and design the earthquake resistant and the wind resistant and the fire resistant. So you can get the same performance or better performance compared with the traditional concrete data center. And also, this solution can get the 50 years lifespan. Okay. Because of the time limitation, just now I just introduced several products of Huawei data center facility. Actually, Huawei have full scenario solution for the data center, and we want to help our customer to build the data center green, intelligent, and reliable. At the same time, I hope we can, when we enjoy the convenience from the digital life, when we construct more and more data center, also we can protect the environment of the planet. So finally, I want to use a sentence to finish my presentation. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your excellent speech, Mr. Jerry Chang. Thank you once again. All right. As the leader in data center facility, Huawei is committed to developing innovative S-Eco feature and solution, which rely zero MS power supply, link switch over, and improve the efficiency of the entire power supply chain to 97.8%. Today, we will launch the UPS S-Eco Technology White Paper. For now, allow me to present to you the video presentation to get to know more further information and also the detail. Please enjoy. And that is UPS S-Eco Technology White Paper. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reaching to the most important part of the day. I would like to take this great opportunity to invite Mr. Boham Sun, President of Huawei Digital Power APAC, to come up on the stage, join for the opening ceremony. Also, following by Mr. Basilio Diaz Araujo. Please come up on the stage as well. And also Mr. Jerry Chang, General Manager, Global Data Center Facility Solution, Sales Huawei Digital Power. Mr. Steve Kim, Vice President of Huawei Digital Power APAC. Mr. Gautam Jinanaj Goti, Global Research Vice President, Energy and Environment, Frost & Sullivan. Mr. Carlo Malana, CEO ST Telemedia, Global Data Center Philippines. And lastly, please join on the stage Mr. Matthew Sylvester, Director of Myanmar Thailand Limited. All right, so we will join countdown together from 3, 2, 1, and all excellency up here on the stage. Once we count down from 3, 2, 1, please kindly touch on the screen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're ready, join me counting down, starting from 3, 2, 1. Can I have a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen? And this is UPS S-Eco Technology White Paper officially launching. All members of the players and all medias, including all the photographers as well, please kindly take this memorable picture moment. And this is also a very important section right here for the Summit of Smart Data Center, building the green future. So I could say that it's officially launching for the amazing of the Huawei UPS S-Eco Technology White Paper. Thank you very much ขอบคุณครับ Thank you all executive up here on the stage for coming and joining for the opening ceremony. All right, so we also have another session waiting for every one of you as well for this summit. The next one will going to be infrastructure as usual, to infrastructure X0 pathway to infrastructure sustainability. By this session, we got the honor by the speaker, Mr. Carlo Malana, CEO ST Telemedia Global Data Center Philippines. So now the stage is yours, sir. Big round of applause.
Now, this is a tough spot. I think I'm in between dinner and drinks, right? So my commitment to you all is that I'm going to try to make sure to make a point real quick and wrap us all up so that we can enjoy the evening of this very exciting conference, this very first day on this conference today. So in terms of a topic, today I'll be talking about pathways to infrastructure sustainability, and we're calling it really a migration from infrastructure as usual to infrastructure, we call it X.0. We've heard about Web 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. And really, I think we're applying the same nomenclature to infrastructure sustainability. I'm Carlo Malana. I'm the CEO of ST Telemedia Global Data Centers in the Philippines. It's a joint venture between Globe Group, STT GDC, and Ayala Corporation. Really, I'm talking about sustainability and looking into the future. We have to look at sustainability as an end-to-end ecosystem, right? There's a lot of trends that have developed, and really the key part about this is that we have to look at the entire ecosystem. But let's look at what are the major trends that you've heard about. Today, we've heard from multiple speakers about why and why the data centers are going to grow, the digital transformation is going to grow. But also, I think we have to also look at the sustainability aspect of infrastructure. One of the things that we're seeing is that, in terms of millennials becoming investors and employees, I think this is a key factor to consider because we're starting to care more about infrastructure sustainability because all of us are starting to care more about infrastructure sustainability, and the people collectively are becoming more concerned about infrastructure sustainability. In fact, a lot of investment is changing hands over the next 10 years into the millennials who care more. We have millennial employees that are willing to take pay cuts to work for a company that aligns with their sustainability philosophies. We also have regulatory environments embracing ESG. We've heard from multiple speakers from the government sector as well today. And we know it's an important cause because as the speaker before me said, we're just borrowing the earth from our children. There's also an opportunity now with portfolio rebalancing. And so there's a lot of money that's driving some of this thing. And putting our money where our mouth is happening today. We've talked about sustainability a long time, but I think we are at an inflection point where sustainability is truly becoming important because the money is following that. The green finance markets are driving sustainability. There's a lot of incentives to be green. And I think we all have to take this into account as we look into the overall picture and the ecosystem that supports sustainability. Well, we are at this interesting point, right? We're in a catch-22 situation. We've talked about all the potential of digital transformation. And we think about all the good things that we can do, all the efficient things that we can do. We heard about data centers now that we are aware of, that we consume so much power, 4 to 5% of the global energy consumption. And in data center hubs like Singapore, the projection is 12% of the power consumption in the next 10 years. What we may not be aware of is that we hear about, hey, now we can do video conferencing. We don't have to commute. We can store things in the cloud. We don't have to do paper and tapes and backup and landfills, right? So the internet saves energy, right? I'm not quite so sure because we know that everything we do today, we generate so much data. all of this data has to be stored, processed. And guess what? All this storing and processing are carried by the data centers eventually. You know, when I explain to people what I do today, managing a data center business, a lot of people don't understand data centers, but a lot of people understand cloud. They understand social media. They understand taking all these pictures of their vacation, all thousands of them, right? Sometimes your friends post all of these pictures on Facebook or other social media. Now, who here has gone through their pictures on their phone and deleted and edited and filtered all this out in the last year or 2 years? Anybody? Raise your hand if you have. See, most of us don't, right? So this is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And really, the digital ecosystem also pays a little bit of a price, every little bit of a transaction. And all of this collectively, at the scale we're talking about, the growth we're talking about, makes us really, really concerned about sustainability. You know, really as an industry and as a company, we believe that economic growth should never be at the expense of people or planet. It's a hard statement to make. In fact, some people say that's impossible. You know, we have to balance a lot of things. But I think people in this room, people here are capable, and if putting this thing in front of you, people here are capable of influencing and making the right decisions so that this sustainability doesn't just become a talk. We're actually able to put this into action in the way that we design and build our data center platforms. You know, we need to transform both the infrastructure we have today and not only about how we design and plan and manage the infrastructure of tomorrow, but we have to look at it end to end. It's not just about a building that's green. It's about understanding how we plan this building, how this building impacts everything else. In fact, the planning horizon isn't just a couple of years or 3 years. Sometimes it's decades. Because we have to understand that things have to get in place for the whole ecosystem to change. One part changing without the other parts staying, without the other parts being in lockstep, makes change very difficult in our industry. You know, in STTGDC, we had 4 dimensions of sustainable infrastructure. We talk about the environment, which we've heard of a lot. You know, we talked about renewables, tapping carbon offsets, looking for sustainable supply chains. We also have the second tenet of economics and governance. You know, when you look at catalyzing sustainable and green financing, and also adapting not only about sustainability, but also employee health and safety. You know, being clear about our ability to build our structures and make sure we take care of the people that are building it. Of course, we've talked today a lot about technology. Some great new things that we're seeing here, some things that were just dreams 5 years ago are becoming reality now in the hardware and the infrastructure that we're able to deliver into the customer's hands. We have energy management that we talked about, liquid cooling, you know, machine learning and artificial intelligence. All of these are parts of that sustainable infrastructure that we have for the future. And last but not least, we're talking about social impact. Engaging the community, engaging government, engaging people to care about sustainability, and for us to be responsible in this ecosystem that we play with so that we can affect the changes that we'd like to see. You know, today, sustainable infrastructure is still somewhat in the expensive side, right? We talk about it, but there's a cost. And with the entire ecosystem at play, we're talking about the countries, the cities, to not just infrastructure, but IT infrastructure, but data centers, you know, enterprises and end customers. All of these things have to work hand in hand for us to be able to affect the change. And the cost of implementation should go down, right? That's one of our challenges. Even today, we talked about using biofuels for gensets, right? It still costs about 2 to 3 times, last time I checked, versus their diesel counterparts. And so we have to continue to strive to make the economics work. That way, we can align and make significant progress. There's a lot of new technology we talked about, but the reality is, I think, as you talk about hyperscalers, right, it's difficult to make these changes without the correct technology maturity that we're going to need. But we see a light in the horizon, right? We have the heightened awareness of end users, we have the increasing government support, and we have a growing emphasis on sustainability in the infrastructure environment. So, one of the things to end this particular conversation, I just wanted to talk about, the rest of the opportunities we have, and we talked about, and just to summarize, renewables, rethinking infrastructure. We're talking about clearly defined industry standards and guidelines, the measurements that we heard about, PUE, WUE, CUE, all of those things are important to align and so that we can all measure it ourselves in a very accurate and credible manner. And last but not least, we need the talent to continue increasing what we call the green quotient. We have to have people that care about this and make it really happen. And green skilling, or the ability to look into the future so that we will have the talent to operate all of these green jobs in the future. So we're all at an interesting place today, and I think that we are collectively in a great position to enable our digital future. Khop khun krap. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Khop khun kap. Mr. Carlo Malana, CEO, ST Telemedia Global Data Center Philippines. Thank you for coming and brought a lot of fruitful information and sharing with us for the topic of infrastructure as usual to infrastructure X0 pathway to infrastructure sustainability. Also by this topic, we also get to know more about what data center does and also how to make a sustainable infrastructure in somehow as well. Moving next, ladies and gentlemen, we also have another session waiting for every one of you. It's going to be the innovative leadership in scaling up and monetizing data center. By this session, we got the order of my Miss Unit Lee Heathcote, CEO of EasyCom. And now the stage is yours. Big round of applause.
A fantastic afternoon to the honorable speakers, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen. I wanted to mention is a lot of the problems and challenges faced by the ICT leaders today are not new. There's been a lot of discussion talking about geopolitics impact to the technology stage, the growing needs of the cybersecurity, the growing needs of the data security, data privacy, the migration, the cloud migration of the adoption and the migration. There's also talks about how to improve the customer service. So these are all some of the topics that are being faced by the ICT leaders today. But think about it, these are not new, because it all boils down to only two matters. One is disruption, and the other one is transformation. So what does it mean to Cambodia and EasyCom? EasyCom being the leading internet service provider for Cambodia. We all know Cambodia is a wonderful country that has this majestic Angkor Wat as their key tourist destinations. Cambodia is also having a dark ages whereby it went through a war, and because of these incidents, the social demographics has changed. The average age population for the country is 25.6 years old. And the majority of the population, 65% of it, are less than 30 years old. So the country has been going through a lot, and they are doing so much to make sure that the country will get out of a better economic situation so that it'll be competitive with the other neighboring countries and the neighboring nations. Under the leadership of the Prime Minister, he has a very strong vision to bring the country up to a middle-income nation by the year 2030 and a high-income nation by the year 2050. So what does that mean? As you can see, Cambodia is one of the countries that have been enjoying a phenomenal growth, GDP growth, of an average of 7.1%. That was between 1995 all the way until just last year, 2021. The average growth of 7.1% is really phenomenal because that includes the pandemic years. And because of the leadership of the Prime Minister to go into the middle income on the high income, so it is a lot of urgency and critical need for the countries to step out of it. Stepping out from the pandemic, the government has really started a lot of the policy making, a lot of the initiatives, a lot of the projects to make sure the collaboration of the private and public sector collaboration will be able to reignite and spark off all the digital economy stuff. Okay? So in line with this, EasyCom being the leading internet service provider, we aspire to be the digital catalyst in line with the digital economy. We started the business just about like 14 years ago as just the connectivity. But for the past 2.5 years, we've been transforming ourselves to go into the digital platform and the digital data space. And you can see today, we are already into a multi-cloud, we are already into security, we are into collaboration, we are into a lot of the managed services, productivity tools, and there's more to come. Yeah? So then, what does it mean with all these things that's happening? Ultimately, we want to become the trusted advisor for our customers in the digital space. But all these things means that we need to be able to grow and scale. And one of the things that we need to do is to have our stronger digital infrastructure. So that is one of the things that we need is the data center. For us to have new data center, we need to build, and building takes time. That will take easily between 2 to 3 years to the list, and time is of essence here. We need to be able to capture the market opportunities. So then what's next? We have some existing data centers, or I would call it as a server's room or network room, but we need to be able to upgrade what we have right now in order to capitalize it while we'll continue to build the data centers. So we need to find a way to make sure that the existing asset that we have, the inventory that we have, works for us. We also want to make sure that the whole expenses, especially managing the data center in terms of the electricity and the operational costs, are minimal. Of course, having a very advanced, innovative, automated monitoring system is also very important, because this is what we need to deliver to our customers. Last but not least, Cambodia, because of its vision, wanted to be a middle and high income. It needs to be able to attract investors to come over to the country. So we need to continue to raise the bar, raise the standards, to raise the quality and the expectation, so that investors will be having that confidence to Cambodia. So with all these things, we need to be able to design what we have right now. So my team put together a very strong team to look into all the research and all the necessary work required to see all the current opportunities that we have, and we group it into two. One is the existing data center, and the other one is the new data center. We identify what needs to be done in those things by saying that for the existing data center, we'll just put in the how do we maximize the existing data center capabilities and also include the kind of power consumption to drive high performance. For the new data center, it's to make sure that it's a purpose-built data center with the international uptime certification, with good security and scalable, and of course, good power consumptions as well. And it's also very assuring to know that we have partners like Huawei. They have this new generation data center with a low carbon. We have the features of smart, green, simple, and reliable. Mr. Jerry Chang has done a fabulous job in explaining those technical details. I would not try to be as smart as him, but it mentioned that it has a lot of features that drive a lot of the requirements that EasyCom has been looking at. In fact, it has more than the requirements that what we are asking. So collaborating with Huawei is truly given us a very good platform for us to capitalize the market opportunities. As I mentioned about us doing things very different, because being a digital catalyst for Cambodia in a digital space, I need to assemble a team that is really having a very robust thinking. So I am driving the team pretty much like a space travel, traveling from the planet Earth to planet Mars. The in-between there is a lot of things to be done. There's a lot of things that we need to establish. In other words, what's the in-between is really the disruptions and the transformations. The only thing that we need to do is to have a very strong leaders who has already a growth mindset. Now, growth mindset actually can be coached with the right attitude, yeah? And with these leaders that I have, that they are already have a consistent belief into our unique selling proposition, which is our USP. And our USP is to establish the most trustworthy networks for Cambodia with the future-proof product portfolios and combine it with an excellent customer service. And last but not least, the thing about this is that it needs to be like a super glue to have a corporate values that bond together the whole cohesive corporate values, because only with this, they are able to make a daily governance decision making. They are able to make a govern with a strong governance in decision making and actions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Unit Lee Heathcote, CEO of EasyCom, for your introduction in the topic of innovative leadership in scaling up and monetizing data center. Stay tuned with us because we still have 2 more sessions waiting for every one of you as well. So up next, ladies and gentlemen, is we're going to be another keynote, which is a very important one, sustainability for data center. By this session, we got the order by the speaker, Mr. Matthew Sylvester, Director of Myanmar Thailand Limited. And now the stage is yours, sir.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm here to talk to you about some strategies for sustainable data centers. My name is Matthew Sylvester. I'm a M&E engineer. I'm the director of Myanmar Thailand. We're a global consultancy for engineering design and project management. So sustainability strategy. What is it and why? So firstly, why? Well, I think everyone is well aware of the requirements of ESG policies from various different sectors in the world. These things are about to become, shall we say, mandated by regulations and by things like the stock market, the US SEC, the EU stock markets. They're all going to require quite soon, within the next 5 years, that data centers and all the various things that rely on data centers will have some degree of sustainability credentials. How to address that as a data center developer? Well, there's several elements to the sustainability strategy, including things like the constructability of the data centers, renewable energy, where you can source renewable energy from, and things like the energy use in the data center itself. So one of the key areas one of our earlier speakers mentioned is water sustainability. People don't pay much attention to water, but it is a very important resource. And data centers are quite water hungry to fuel all the water cooling systems. We can deal with that by recycling water on site, capturing and reusing rainwater, recapturing condensate, this type of thing. And when you're looking for certification under schemes like USGBC's LEED, this can be a very effective way of getting points towards your LEED credentials. Up to 25% of the LEED points are available through water efficiency alone. The other area where you hear a lot about is renewable energy, greenhouse gas emissions, that type of thing. The main way to achieve low carbon data centers is through sourcing grid power, which is sustainable in the first instance. Unfortunately, in Thailand, that's not such a great thing at the moment. Less than 20% of grid energy comes from renewable sources. So, what can we do, particularly in Thailand? Well, first thing I would say is we should try and refer to the principles of sustainability, which is to reduce demand in the first instance, meet demand efficiently, and finally, use renewable resources. Typically, people start with efficiency, but that's the wrong thing. The first thing to do is look at reducing loads in the first place. When you're reducing loads, well, then the thing to reduce is actually the IT. Things like utilization. According to a survey from the Uptime Institute, 1/3 of servers are utilizing less than 30% of their data handling capacity. If you double the utilization, then you can almost half your energy use. 45% reduction is the estimate. So compared to reducing PUE by say 20%, reducing a PUE from 1.5 to 1.4 will give you about a 10% energy reduction. So in the first instance, look at IT. PUE itself, we hear a lot about it. It's a bit of a flawed metric. PUE doesn't measure things like the fans that help to cool servers in the server rooms themselves. They can contribute up to 14% of the IT load. So the PUE calculation is a flawed thing in the first instance. Ways to look at reducing energy consumption in data halls. Well, if you do things like increasing the temperature in data halls, every degree increase in temperature in the data hall will reduce your cooling costs by 3 to 4%. So all the main chip manufacturers, all the main server manufacturers are now starting to produce equipment which can run at higher temperatures. Dell, HP, Huawei, all the big names. So that's something. I mean, I suppose it's easier for the hyperscalers, less easy for colo and for enterprise, where you have less control over the IT equipment. But again, if you can drive these temperatures up, you drive your energy costs down considerably. I mentioned earlier about PUE and using the server fans. Server fans take about 14% of the server IT load. Now, if you can increase temperatures in your data hall, you reduce chiller costs, chiller energy. At the same time, you drive up the use of server fans. So there's an inflection point. Some careful work needs to be done on that. Other benefits of increasing temperature in the data hall is you can start to avail of free cooling. A bit difficult in Thailand, but as temperatures are increasing, then that's becoming more and more applicable. Something else that people tend to focus on with data centers is having resilience, redundancy. Redundancy means lots of equipment is constantly on standby, on hot standby, using power, doing nothing. So trying to get a good balance between resilience and energy efficiency is another way to make data centers more sustainable in terms of their energy use and their efficiencies. Of course, there's the logical things are to use energy-efficient equipment, you know, energy-efficient chillers, that type of thing. One of our earlier speakers mentioned about EC plug fans. EC plug fans are a great technology which are becoming mainstream. You know, instead of having one big centrifugal fan, you have a bank of, say, 9 fans. You increase your EC plug fan capacity by 10%, and you can actually achieve N+1 redundancy. If you do it with a centrifugal fan, you need 2 fans. So it's more space efficient, more energy efficient, and it's, you know, it's the way forward. Heat recovery, demand control, ventilation, these are all fairly standard things at this point in industry. More so, we're moving towards having flooded supply air systems, so fan walls, rather than having your traditional underfloor cooling. This means you can avail of using things like variable speed fans, which means you have you know, you don't have to worry about pressurizing rooms. This can help a lot in terms of saving fan powers. I suppose coming to the end of what you can do in terms of technology, smart inspections, AI, these things. You know, some people are saying this will reduce your OPEX by a third, by 35%, 37%. It also has benefits by doing things like having automated inspections. If equipment breaks down less, then it will run. You know, your systems are running more efficiently all the time. And you can use AI for other things like automatic reporting, automatic maintenance to make sure things are optimized. It makes sure that all your systems are running as efficiently as possible. So AI, a big thing for the future. So short and sweet. This is my last slide. Just to sum up, I think, you know, legislation and financial markets, even people who are less interested in sustainability for sustainability's sake, it's a demand that's going to be there from financial markets, from governments, from legislation. I think a note for everyone to make: PUE is the first word off everyone's lips. As consultants, it's the first thing our clients ask for. Can we get a good PUE? I would say certainly you can, but I would look more at your IT loads and getting your IT team to look at the efficiency of that. You know, as we mentioned earlier, doubling utilization, which, you know, that's going from a 30% utilization to 60% utilization. That's still 40% spare capacity in your IT processing capability. Just by doing that, you'll save 45% of your energy, which is very significant. There is a balance to be had between resilience, efficiency. You know, again, that's something that you have to work with your operations teams. Looking at things like higher temperatures, again, back to your IT people. So overall, I suppose the keynote of what I would say is, when you're going to try and do a sustainable data center, look first at reducing the loads. Look at reducing cooling loads by having more efficient IT equipment in the first place. I think that brings me to the end. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That is Sustainability for Data Center by Mr. Matthew Sylvester. Ladies and gentlemen, we have coming to last session for the Summit of Smart Data Center Building the Green Future. So the last session we're going to be the introduce Thailand Data Center Standard and Market Insight. By this session, we got the order by Mr. Montri Wibunrat, BICSI Thailand Country Chair, KMITL Business School, KMITL. Please welcome on the stage, sir.
Good evening, distinguished guests, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the land of smile, because we are smile every time. Doesn't matter raining or not raining. Okay, for myself, I can declare a researcher because I have a PhD researcher since 2006. Until now, we have about 100 papers, publications, and I work as the Big C Thailand Country Chair as well. Because, you know, right now, when we're talking about data center, we're talking about standard. What standard do we use? What the standard will be comply? Anything we talk about standard, right? So that's why EIT is the Engineering Institute of Thailand. Why we try to launch our own standard as well. Because in US, you got 110 wanted. In Thailand, we got 220 different. The designer is different. Singapore as well. So I test spicy food, maybe you cannot. So that's why Thailand is quite unique as well. So any data center we try to build in Thailand, you have to comply the local standard. Local code override international standard that I try to tell everyone that here, even though my student as well. Mostly I have about 5 PhD students, 2 of them just graduate. I will share if we have time, because the dinner is already there, so we have to go fast. Okay, agenda, doesn't matter. We're talking about this one. Right now, the data center in the world, mostly everyone know uptime, right? Everyone talk about, for me, I'm the big C, Thailand country share, I'm here. So we have about TAA 942 as well. We have Bitkom from German. We have ISO 22237, that's the latest one, just issue out. And Thailand, we have the data center, and we will launch the new one, the revision 2, by the end of this year. I just give you the information about, in Thailand, if your installation like a power is the law, we have to comply. Otherwise, you're against the law. In the future, data center may be at closest one to become standard. So become standard, that means you have to comply the regulations. This one I show you is about how they related together. Because of uptime, they have their own certifications. And Truth IT, they have their own certification by, they use the big C plus TIA 942. And at the same time, ISO, they're still undergoing. They have about seven books about the standard. Thailand data center we have, I will show you what we have. See, this is about certification. Before we talking about who's gonna design the data center, what they're gonna ask you, do you have certification or not? Like Big C, they have certification as well. And Uptime, they have certification, it's mine. And TAA 942, they have as well, CDCP. And Thailand, we have the data center certification for personal as well. So that's why many engineers in Thailand, they will comply to this one. We try to build out knowledge people as well. Right now, we training engineer almost about 100 people already that have Thai certifications. Because when you ask me Thailand standard is international or not, my answer is yes, because TIA, EAT and Big C is joined together. They refer the standard together. So that's why the EAT standard can declare as international standard as well. Okay, when we talk about this picture, I try to tell you about this quite a big picture of Thailand, because we're talking about number of data centers, the total area. I will not get to the detail, but the thing I try to tell you about, the DGA, they are the Thailand agency, digital government agency. They try to pursue it about the standard, what the standard should have in the data center. The first thing, I like Toyota because I'm teaching a Toyota production system as well. Toyota, they have the philosophy, before we build a good car, we have to build a good people first. Correct or not? If the one who built the car is not have the good quality, so forget about the car. Same as here, we try to build our own people as well, but try to step up to be international standard as well. Southeast Asia as well. So the education is no barrier. You can come and learn together with us. We try to teaching in English language as well. So they have the EIT here. EIT, we are the engineering institute. We are the center. We are the neutral. So we comply all the standard, that requirement. So we use the agency and we got the NECTEC. NECTEC will be certified body. NECTEC will help us to certify many data center. That right now, I think the number of data center in Thailand is almost about 22 data center co-locations, not include the cloud service like Alibaba is coming already, AWS coming already, and Azure, Google, they will still, Oracle, they're still on the list. So that's the reason we have to talk about how we compile the local standard That is the point I tried to talking about. If you uptime, you have to do the certified design first and certified installation of facility, and you need to certify operation. It's different. But you go for Big C or EAG, you certify one time from the beginning until the end. So the way you certify is different. I think the lady from Cambodia, you still have the certified design first. After that, you certify facility. At the end, you have to certify operation as well. In Thailand, we do on this one as well. Oh, forget to tell you. You see the data center university.org, that is my website. I built this website for my PhD and my master student. I don't want to answer them, what should you choose? They ask me, where is the paper I should write? I should read. I think, okay, you go to that website. Make your own. Over there, I think they have more than 500 papers you can read from the site selection, system reliability, power cooling, or even though psychometrics. Everything's over there. Actually, they have all. Okay, this one, example of Thailand, local CS login info. They are already certifications for the EAT standard by NECTEC. It's already. Okay, Thailand, we have about 22. The data center, mostly in downtown Bangkok. But don't forget something will happen. If you have a chance to see in earth.org, within 100 years from now, at the floor, at here, we just 1 meter above the sea level. What happened? 1 Celsius of the temperature of the global warming, the sea level will higher 2.3 meters. That's from my research. I reference this one. So think about what will be happen in another 30 years, 50 years. I'm working on my research paper about this one as well, rising of the sea level. Maybe if you're lucky, within a few days, you will see the flooding of Bangkok. Raining coming, or flood. Okay, I go faster. Okay, Thailand data center trend, what is upcoming? We talk about hyperscale data center. When we talk about 100 megawatt, where I should set up my data center, who gonna support you the power? That's a big issue, right? And the edge data center, definitely, they will coming because of the 5G, like automotive vehicle. They have to send, the latency should be very little. Imagine when you drive a car faster, 120. Object over there, how could you make the decision to touch your brake? But that's human brain. Change if that is autonomous car, what it should be, make a decision. They have to faster respond. Joint venture like a national company and local company. I think some joint, for instance, many previous speakers, they already talk about right now data center, they go up by M&A, merge and acquisitions. Most of data center will be that nature. And green data center, that will be my research right now. We talk about renewable energies. We talk about this one many times already. I just give you information. I become a messenger to send a message. I can tell you in Thailand, we have renewable energy certifications from the hydroelectric dam, more than 16 gigawatt. How big? 16 gigawatt. I can supply for you because EGAT have this. We have talked this one, and think next year I will tell you issue more about this one. And another is LNG cooling for data center. That my PhD already graduate. LNG is liquid form, is minus 162. We have to do regasify process to become the normal or temperature room. How many energy is gone? That my research is already done. We waiting for go ahead. So that means a ton of cooling system is dumped to the sea. It makes a lot of impact on the creature in the sea. Why we do that one? So that's why my ideas come up with this one. Our research is already done. We're waiting for investor and we go ahead about this one. This is free. Why many data centers go for island why many data centers go for Amsterdam, that's the capital city of data center. Because they need free cooling, right? At least you got about 8 months free cooling. You use outside air and then pre-heat, pre-moisture, and then put in your data center. But for here, we have 365 days. Because we have process about regasify every day. That's, I think, wait and see. We save energy for data center, as everyone knows it here. 40 to 60% is cost for electric. At the end of this month, Thailand will increase electrical bill by 18%. If you are operation data center, 80%, where you can charge to the customer, maybe cannot. Okay, next we talk about cloud service provider. Like major player, I think it's already in Thailand, but they didn't build their own yet, but one day they will build their own. So the upcoming Thailand data center standard. Right now, I'm the one who in charge to create the data center mobile and modular data center standard. I'm the chief leader about this one because we foreseen already. If you work on telco company, telco is already there, right? But right now we go for edge. We talk about standard. What the standard we have right now? I can see, search all the standard in the world. We don't have to talk about this one. Don't have any data center standard talk about this. So we have to build our own. It's not difficult. I'm the chairman for the data center infrastructure management, or DC as well. That standard is already done by my team. We're waiting for launch it out by the end of this month or maybe the beginning of next year. And the data center operation and maintenance, DCOM, is already performed under revise. And concept of green data center, that we talk about the renewable energy certification, or REC. We are already prepared on that one. And the last one, PUE, thank you for my heart. I'm always saying PUE cannot answer the energy efficiency in your data center. We have another one already done by McKinsey and Uptime, right? Because CADE, corporate average data center efficiency, that we talk about utilizations and efficiency. The factor is gone in PUE equation. I always against about this one, but one day I will make a standard for out Thailand about this one. Because the equation, you didn't talk about utilization, right? How come you know the efficiency you have? Or even though they have many factors that we don't count about this, Thailand is the worst one, because if you go for the HLA, we are on A1. That means temperature is really high, humidity is very high. So the crack doing two things at the same time. So they have many things we have to discuss. Sorry, we have about 10 minutes. So I will release you to have a dinner, otherwise you will kill me. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Montri Wibunrat. ขอบคุณครับ All right, so that is the ending for the theme speech today, ladies and gentlemen. So before you leaving this room, kindly scan this QR code that will come up and pop up on the screen right here. It's a questionnaire. Your suggestion and or your opinion will be really mean to us, and we will make the improvement for the next summit for sure. And also, once again, before you leaving this room, kindly check all your personal belongings before leaving. I hope you enjoyed the day so far. Thank you very much for coming and joining for this summit, Smart DC, Building the Green Future. It's time to farewell the stage. Thank you very much once again. ขอบคุณครับ